Got to do that morning calisthenics routine. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Caliber Corner, episode number, where are we at? 224, if I'm not mistaken, season 4. Today, we're going to have we're going to deep dive and have a heart-to-heart discussion on a caliber that's often misunderstood, that's underrepresented, that's underloved. It is the stepchild of the ammunition community. It is 40 Smith & Wesson. And we're gonna have a little talk about that. I think a lot of people, they don't want to admit it, but they're closet 40 Smith & Wesson owners. They don't want to come out and go public about it, but they do have something chambered in 40. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the history, the ammunition costs. We're going to talk about availability. I don't know how we even got on this topic last week. I just decided this would be something we would discuss. And when you're looking for firearms, many times you can find great deals on LEO trade-ins. Chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson, Glock 22s, Glock 23s, and so on. So before we get into that discussion and let the hate flow, remember, this is a therapy session. We're here to love 40 Smith & Wesson. Let's go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. So now normally I just go in like a clockwise manner. We have a huge panel this morning. It's rare that you guys all show up for 40 Smith & Wesson, but any other time, I'm lucky to get 4 of you to be here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm thankful to have the panel that I do. So we got a new panelist here today. I just met this dude a couple weeks ago. Great person, great podcast, part of this great gun community. Chris from the 740. Chris, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. I really appreciate you having me on. I was looking forward to this when we talked last night. So
cool. Tell us about your channel. You've got a smaller channel on YouTube. How long has your channel been around? What kind of content do you make? What do you do?
So how my channel got started was I travel around with a group of guys and we shoot USPSA competitions. And my son would go with us and film the videos. And then I would come home and do all the editing. Well, the problem was I was having to upload them to Google Drive and get them sent out to the guys and all that. So I came up with the concept hey, if we just start a YouTube channel, we can have all our match videos in 4K and we can just log in and watch them whenever we want. So that was how it started. And then I just kind of started tinkering around doing some magazine reviews and things like that. And I liked it. Okay. And it just kind of spiraled from there. And then I started getting some more subscribers. And now I'm up to new video every Tuesday, new video on Thursday, and then my live chat on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 Eastern. And
oh, cool. Okay.
Now I enjoy it and just met some amazing people, in the YouTube community. And so it's pretty cool, to have all these new friends and new contacts now.
Was it G20? Was G23 kind of the person that brought you into this fold? Was he the person that reached out to you and said, hey, come join us? Or what was it that brought you to us? Because there's different pods of gun communities out there. There might be another group of guys and gals just like us following another person, another channel. We'll never meet those people because the YouTube gun world is so vast. But
right.
How did you get over here?
So Echo is actually who broke my channel. He had me come on his stream when I was sitting on 200 subscribers at the time.
Echo's Reloading Chamber, right?
Yep.
For those that don't know.
So I did Echoes, and then I just started getting invited on a lot of other streams after that. I ended up doing Georgia Shooting Connection a couple times, and then I met G, and G and I have become really good friends. And then he pretty much co-hosts my show now, and I do a lot of his Saturday nights. So
yeah. Cool. A quick comment. TPC Cook says that's Tara out there, by the way. You should go subscribe to her channel. She says they're all little high school cliques. Well, the difference about our clique is that anybody's welcome here. Anybody's welcome at this table, man. If you like guns and ammo, come join in. Email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. We'll have you here. Anybody watching, you guys are always welcome to be on here. I know a lot of people say they want to do it, and then they get scared when they go on the panel, or they don't know if they should. But so, hey, Chris, it's good to have you here. Again, if you're with us in the future, that's great. If not, hey, man, we're all fans of firearms. So hopefully you want to stick around and want to be here. So like I said, it's an early morning time slot. It's not an easy time slot to do. I got to get up early. It wears everybody else out because everybody's working the night before. But I'm glad to have you here. So welcome.
Yeah.
Staying up, talking about other stuff till 3 or 4 in the morning on other chats and stuff. And I got to compete with that, but it's okay. I'm used to it.
So my big question is, what's your division?
What's my oh, sorry. No. I thought you were talking to me. I was like, we all get along. What are you talking about? No. Competition. USPSA.
Competition,
don't talk like that, Foos. All right. Yeah.
I'm a hated PCC shooter.
Oh God, one of those guys.
Now, let's all get along.
I started production. I'm currently limited.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few of your match videos.
Just remember, guys, in the end, we're all in the same unit here when SHTF, so let's just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter anymore at that point, so it's all common goal. Yeah.
And at the beginning, like the whole hating on PCC was the thing, but now it's kind of like an ongoing joke.
Because then you get old and you realize how much easier it is to be accurate with the PCC. You don't have to try anymore, you know? Yeah. Oh, man. All right, so also joining us, we got AWAG 1000. AWAG, what is new in your world? What's going on, man?
A whole lot of tomfoolery when it comes to firearms. So I've started dabbling in stock modifications, and my first modification I am not proud of at all. So one of my little trainer rifles, which is a Savage Mark II 22 long rifle.
Key mod, huh? We all make that mistake.
No, it's even worse. We're going into Bubba. We're going into Bubba territory.
Gorilla tape?
Oh yes, actually.
Oh God.
So the stock that's on it now is a youth length stock, and if you were to ever see me in real life, I am not a youth-sized person.
Well, you were when you started this show. You were like a 9th grader. You know,
man. I was only 5 years old when I started here.
You signed the waiver and joined, and your parents let you hang out with
them.
And
still taller than 95% of the listeners.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I needed about like 4-ish inches of length of pull on the stock. So I basically took a wooden plank and I cut it to length and gorilla taped it to the buttstock of this stock. And I am not proud of it, but it works.
Couldn't you just have gotten like an adult stock for this? Did they make a larger stock for the firearm or not?
Yes, but I'm not going to spend $200 on stock.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because I mean, $20 gorilla tape done, right? So did you like cut the groove in the back of it and like glue a UTG butt pad on the back of it? Oh.
Nope. It's literally just a big block of wood that I gorilla taped to the stock.
Oh my God. That's like end of the world apocalypse gun is what that is. So
hey, it works. I'm not complaining.
I bet. That's nice. It
actually does a good job of balancing out the rest of the rifle too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I bet, dude. It kind of has a little bit of weight on the back there. Kind of bounces out that heavy.
But if you do want to see a picture of it, I have a picture of it on my Discord. I will probably throw a Discord link in there somewhere.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right. Well, guys, make sure you check out AWAG 1000's channel. He's got all kinds of fun content over there. He's our resident long distance shooter, young buck, night vision expert. So he's pretty much.
I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert.
Who uses night vision in his thumbnail? Okay.
Okay. Fine.
There you go. All right. Okay. All right. So moving on here, we got Squibload with us this morning. Squibload, what is new in your world? What are you doing?
A bunch of video reshoots. That's what I'm doing.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, I got to reshoot the ending of the Chaco Canyon Gold video that I finally got around to doing. I'm so backed up with projects. And the sad thing is the low production value. You'd go, this guy doesn't put any work into it. I put a lot of work into something.
We just don't know the tricks and trades that make stuff look pretty. We don't know how to put makeup on the pig. That's part of the problem. We can't catch the pig to put makeup on it, so we just let the pig run, right?
Wait, we're supposed to catch the pig? I just aim the pig.
You don't want to be the pig because the pig usually ends up being dinner. So
exactly.
I don't mind being dinner every now and again.
Oh, jeez. All right. So
wait. How many?
Whoa.
How many minutes? 9. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. Squibload's got a wonderful channel. Check it out. Lots of great content. Don't worry about the low production value. They're very informative. They're fun to watch, and you're going to get an honest opinion from a person, which I think is worth not having the fancy desert shots with the drone and the grizzled, burly tattooed dude, right? I mean, you get an honest presentation from a hardworking individual that wants to just give you his opinion about what he's talking about. So there you go. Not to mention the speaking squibbish videos that you do are fantastic. So
I stayed up last night and edited like 9 of them. So.
And I love it. There's such a great variety of topics. Anything from marriage advice to to whatever.
I don't know. Sometimes sometimes I question them, and it's like, nah,
Yep.
I'm just gonna go for it. So,
Yep.
like, if I ever finish the one about my problem with the Girl Scouts, I'm expecting to get a whole lot of negative comments on that one.
You know, they're going to see the title and just automatically thumbs down without even watching and hearing your opinion. And that's the sad part, but that's just how people are. They're so quick to judge anymore, you know? Ah, God. That's all right,
if
man.
anybody says there's nothing good on the internet, they probably looked at my channels.
There you go. I think I've seen it all. You know, you start looking up stuff like the origin of Velcro and why AA batteries are called AA instead of watching YouTube videos. So, oh, God. All right, man. Okay, also joining us from the land out west, Calaveras 32 Special. How's it going, man? You good?
Going all right. I'm working on my first cup of coffee for the morning.
Okay.
And
yeah.
40 Smith was actually the first handgun caliber I ever owned, and I actually hand load for it now. So I got some maker's bullets sitting here in front of me that are all copper hollow points for it. A couple different weights. I need to start working up some loads today, actually.
There you go. Hey, just to support you, 61% of our viewers right now, which this is a 100% accurate poll, 79% of the time, say that 61% say that they are owners of 40 Smith & Wesson. So it's a majority rules out there, guys. You got to, if you're not on that 40 Smith & Wesson bandwagon, you better jump on quick before the ammo runs out and we have our next scare and stuff, because 40 Smith & Wesson is like one of those few calibers that's generally on the shelves, in the time of panic and stuff. So I'm telling you, it's one of the last ones to sell out. Yep.
That other percentage are just lying to themselves.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'd say probably 30% are lying and 1% like truly do not own 40. A lot of them just don't want to admit it because they think they made that mistake in the past, but we're going to prove them wrong. So yes. All right, man. Well, Calaveras, good to have you here, guys. Make sure you check out his channel. He's got lots of cool product reviews and great videos and stuff. Do check him out. All right. Also joining us, we got Rich White. Rich, you're one of the reasons why we're doing this show today, because you're one of the original 40 fans, right? So how's your day going? What do you do? What's your channel have to offer? Tell us about you, Rich.
Yeah, I've been supporting 40 Smith & Wesson for a long time. I think the FBI is personally at fault for how the reputation 40 has, but we'll get into that when we get to the discussion. But
yes.
What do I got going on? I got a lot of stuff going up on my channel and on my Instagram from the Great American Outdoor Show, so check out both of those. The channel would be Unloaded Media, as you see it there underneath my little avatar here. And over on Instagram, it will be Unloaded Media _Rich White. So check that out as well. And not only the Great American Outdoor Show on Instagram, but also from the U.S. Army's Heritage and Education Center, which is a free museum that the United States Army has as part of the United States Army War College, which is located at Carlisle Barracks, just outside of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, right off the Interstate 81. So if you're in that area, if you're going to Harrisburg, Hershey Park, whatever, up in that area, stop over at Carlisle and check out that completely free admission. Doesn't cost you anything. They have a nice little gift shop that they use to fund the museum and everything, and they have a little cafe in the back that serves like hot dogs, hamburgers, and stuff that they use to help fund that. So get there and check it out. And you're better off going during the summer months, though, spring in the summer, because not only do they have indoor displays, they also have outdoor displays where they have helicopters, tanks, camp setups, and stuff like that you can check out. Going all with where the camps, they go all the way back to the American Revolution up to modern day, what the troops would have been camping out in Iraq and Afghanistan. So it's really an interesting place to go check out if you get a chance.
Very cool. And when do you have your shows? When can somebody find you over on YouTube? What do you have to offer?
Let's see. We got the wrestling show Saturday nights at 9:05. Unless there's a pay-per-view, then that may switch the days around. We might end up doing that show on a Sunday. And then we also do This Week Unloaded, which is our standard firearms, politics, that kind of stuff. And that's at Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Unless there's a wrestling pay-per-view on Sunday, then that would be the Saturday show. So
absolutely. Again, lots of free entertainment for you out there. Make sure you guys subscribe to these podcasts and watch them. And if you're watching a panel, there's a pretty good chance that somebody else on that panel is going to have their own podcast that they do. And we try to not overlap each other too much. We try to have, but I mean, I tend to go back and rewatch and replay anyway, because a lot of them I don't catch live. But Rich has got a great show. If you guys ever want to be a part of those podcasts, just make sure you email those YouTubers and get a link if they'll let you on and join in and have fun. So there you go. Cool, man. All right. Also joining us from the land of milk and honey, Kansas, Gizzard Gary. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm just doing great. Thanks for the invite. No, I heard last week you were going to have this discussion. It's like, now that sounds like a fun one.
You know, it's a kind of discussion that can split up marriages and cause world wars and stuff. So we're going to try to keep it under control if possible. So, 40 Smith and Wesson. It's 40 Smith and Wesson, man. Yes or no? Now, Gary, do you even have anything in 40 or not?
Yes, I do. I have
Okay.
I have the CHP gun, the Smith and Wesson 4006 TSW,
Yeah.
3rd Gen Smith. I also own a Glock 22 LEO trade-in,
Ooh.
so I do have
you
a couple of them. Yeah.
Have you ever done a comparison video of those two guns versus each other?
No, I really haven't. I mean, the major thing's going to be the weight of the 3rd Gen Smith. Pretty much negates any recoil you have, but neither one of them are that bad as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and part of it is that G22 Glock kind of beat Smith & Wesson to the punch and got the 40 Smith & Wesson pistol out first, which I think was one of the reasons why it got such a major push, and the Smith & Wesson was kind of playing second place the whole time, because they were making the 4006 when Glock just edged them out by maybe a couple months to get that pistol out there and push it in all the departments. So, yeah, that would be actually kind of, and granted, you probably have a Gen 3, Gen 4, G22. Is that what you're running?
It's a Gen 4, yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know if you could find a Gen 1 or Gen 2, or if you do, those are starting to become collector's items now too. So, so if you have a newer one, granted, it wouldn't be identical to the Gen 1, whereas your Smith & Wesson, but your Smith & Wesson, you said, is the 3rd gen. So that's, that has had some enhancements in the 4006 lineup. So, yeah. All right, and also joining us is Foos. Foos, go right ahead, man. Tell us all about you. What's going on?
I'm a 40 roller in both age and what I shoot as of now.
Sorry, man. My dog is dreaming, so he's barking in the background. So yeah, do you compete with 40 or do you compete with 9? I can't remember. What's your competition around?
I started limited in late 2019, so I have been shooting nothing but 40 since early 2020. I mean, in the off season, I do drop back down to 9, but I've already had all that stuff loaded. But yeah, I've been rolling a lot of 40 as of late. Yeah, I like it. I'm shooting 180 grain projectile at about 990 feet per second. Sometimes it gets up over the 180. I mean the 1,000 feet per second. It's a load that I like. I handle the recoil well, and if you actually run some over the chronograph, it's actually moving faster and has more energy than a lot of your commercial 10 millimeters. So this big 10 millimeter push that is out there, it's not all you think it is. It's a myth.
And on the other end, we'll get into this in the discussion, because I want to look at actual energy ballistics and stuff like that. We're going to talk about velocity and energy, because there's a lot of people that say, well, but I got a 9 that'll perform just as good as your 40. And it's like, but I got a 40 that can outperform your 9. So like, it's just kind of a round and round that we go about it. So we'll get into that, and I want to talk about that when we get there. Well, especially if you're talking equal grain weights, the performance difference is pretty significant in 40 versus 9, and it doesn't cost you much more. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's what's on the side of the box is, not true. So
yes,
or it's in a perfect world.
Yes, exactly.
So that's like in the precision shooting world, or just generic hand loading world, is the magneto speed chronographs, or the lab radars. I like to call them heartbreakers, because a lot of people, they look at the box and they're like, oh, this 308 says it'll go 2,600 feet per second, and then they actually chronograph it and it's like 24 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so a lot of things to announce here real quick. First of all, I'm going to be doing my Patreon drawing tomorrow. We're going to give away not one, but two boxes of swag, because the person that won it in January has not responded back with an address to deliver. I've waited 6 weeks. I've done multiple DMs and emails. I've heard nothing. So we're going to re-award their box, because it's sitting on my table taking up space. And we're going to give away a second box. So tomorrow I'll be watching for the live Patreon giveaway that we'll be doing. Should happen tomorrow. I'm going to plan on doing it tomorrow. I've only got 54 patrons. So you've got pretty good odds at winning. And if you win once, you can actually win more than once in a year, because you go back in the box if I draw you out. Real quick, give a shout out to a few people going on the YouTube side over here. We got TPC Cooks out there. Get over there, subscribe to her channel. Mike's out there. M. Gabriel's out there. Squiblift is out there and over here. Tactical Fud, Gizzard Gary doing double duty. Let's see, Mike is out there. Jason Stewart, AWAG's over there and over here. KY Rides is out there. Calaveras, 32 Special, Black Bear Forge, Watt 75. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guys joining us today too. Let's see. Mountain View's watching this morning. M. Gabriel's out there. E-Rock's out there. Chris from the 740. Don't know who that guy is. He's out there. Just kidding, man. Dexter Norman says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dexter. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Anybody else I'm missing? DJ Play Nice. If I don't catch you guys, I apologize, but I do appreciate you watching. And I need to make an announcement. And I got to be honest with you, this is the funniest thing. So somebody's going to have to help me out with this. I know I should know what's going on, and I do kind of get the situation. So Kingpin said, don't forget to talk about Guns and Barbecues diapers giveaway for Tardot and Gunpowder Beauty. Now, if you have no idea what I just said, that's not some kind of like code for a military action. Gunpowder Beauty and Tardot are a married couple. Gunpowder married couple. Gunpowder Beauty has a channel on YouTube. She does a lot of chats that she participates in, and Tardot does once in a while too when she lets them out of the basement. They're gonna have a baby, and I got to be honest with you. When I first saw the thumbnail for this giveaway, I thought it was Crazy Scotsman with like a little baby body. I was like, what are they baby watch? I have no idea what I thought it was Crazy Scotsman. Go look at that thumbnail. I swear to God. And I'm like, what is going on? So can somebody explain to me what the Guns and Barbecue diapers giveaway is all about specifically? Because I got to be honest, I've been hitting the hay like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock this week, and I have not seen these podcasts. So what is Guns and Barbecue doing? Can somebody tell me? Anybody know? Gary, do you know? Anybody know what that diaper?
He's trying to raise money to help with expenses for the new baby coming, and he's doing that by he's put together some prize packs, and you enter the contest by contributing to a I can't remember if it's PayPal or something. He says it in his video. How to
exactly. Yeah, he's just having people send us PayPal, friends and family. So
okay.
Yeah. So that way, and he's hoping to hit a certain dollar amount, so that way it gives them more than what it would have costed him to do the prize pack. So that all the money will be going to Gunpowder and Tardot.
Gotcha. You want to make sure that you head over to Guns and Barbecue's channel and check him out. He's got a great channel. I just didn't understand what this little gift, and I didn't make the connection. I kept thinking Gunpowder Beauty. I don't know if I thought that she had already had the baby or it was going to happen soon, and I didn't make a connection for some reason. It's like, oh, I get it, because I didn't think they mentioned Gunpowder Beauty in the title for the video, so I thought maybe something was going on. I thought Crazy Scotsman was having a kid. I was like, that's crazy. Go look at the thumbnail, guys. I swear to God, Crazy, go look at it. You tell me what you think.
I saw the thumbnail.
I was like, what? Anyway, so all right. So that's good to know. Make sure you guys check it out. Real quick, another shout out to Tim S out there and Tactical Fud, Rolling Trip, Artac and Daughters is out there, and Jason Stewart. If I miss anybody, we're going to give you some recognition. So my plan originally here was to talk about the development of the 40 Smith & Wesson round and read to you the history like we do sometimes, but I'm a bit limited on time today, so we're going to keep it simple. Essentially, the FBI, you guys can correct me on this if I'm wrong, they were looking for a response to a better caliber to replace their 38 Special Plus P revolvers that they were using after the 1986 Miami shootout, where the cops or the FBI were just undergunned, taking on a bunch of armored criminals, right? So what happened basically is they had a call out there for ammunition manufacturers to make a new round that could replace the 38 Special Plus B 158 grain round that they were shooting. And the result of it essentially is 40 Smith & Wesson, which I believe came out around 1990, if I'm not mistaken. So anybody that says that, oh my God, it's an outdated caliber, it's an old caliber, in the world of ammunition, we're older than that caliber. Most of us are older. I was alive. I was like 13 years old when 40 Smith & Wesson came out. So like, it's not an old caliber, and a lot of people want to call it obsolete, and I want to get into that too. But first of all, and then also the big thing that I mentioned earlier was Smith & Wesson was making the 4006 semi-automatic handgun. Glock actually beat them to the punch and got the G22 and the G23 out in the markets first, pushed that around the departments, really pushing it, advertising it, giving these LEOs great prices on these guns when they came out. And that's what kind of saturated the market with 40 Smith & Wesson, kind of making it, in my opinion, one of the dominant calibers in law enforcement for 2 decades or more. So correct me if I'm wrong, guys. What do you want to say about the history of 40 Smith & Wesson? Was there originally a lighter load that was developed for it, and then it became something more? What do you guys know about the history of 40 Smith?
Well, what happened was the FBI originally went to 10 millimeter. They found that 10 millimeter was too rough on their agents because, let's face it, FBI agents are not the people that, what everybody thinks of. Everybody thinks FBI, they think of the FBI HRT, which is their hostage rescue team, which are the badasses in the FBI. Most FBI agents are lawyers or accountants. I mean, by training, that's what they go to school for, and then they go to school later and they maybe get a degree in criminal justice or something like that and become an FBI agent. So they're not people out there that are going to be shooting firearms every day and everything. And so the 10 millimeter, what they found was a little bit too snappy for them. They saw their qualification scores going down, so they wanted something to replace that. So they came up with a 10 millimeter round that was loaded lighter than what the standard 10 millimeter round was, which became the FBI standard 10 millimeter round. But then they saw the Wonder 9s coming out, the Glock 19s, the Glock 17s, and things along those lines, which had a larger magazine capacity. So they wanted something that had the power of their reduced load 10 millimeter, but able to fit in a weapon the size of a 9 millimeter with the magazine capacity similar to a 9 millimeter. Because think all the 10 millimeters at that time were single stack, like 1911s and things like that. So they wanted something that was going to be a double stack. So they got together and they put out this call, and Smith & Wesson in conjunction with Winchester developed the 40 Smith & Wesson round, which was small enough to fit in a 9 millimeter firearm. If you look at all the original 40 Smith & Wesson firearms from Glock, Smith & Wesson, and all the other manufacturers, they were all converted 9 millimeters, which was part of the problem Glock was having, why they were having their frames cracking, because they weren't properly supporting the chamber, because the pistol itself was designed for a 9 millimeter, not the 40 Smith & Wesson. It wasn't until 93, 94 when HK came out with their USP that you actually had a polymer framed handgun that was designed specifically around the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge. And HK, as a result, didn't have the issue where their polymer frames were cracking. But that's the general idea where 40 Smith & Wesson came from.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention the 10 millimeter issue first, because a lot of guys refer to 40 Smith & Wesson as 10 millimeter light, 10 millimeter super carry, right? Yeah.
10 millimeter special.
10 millimeter special. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you were talking about similar grain weights and the ballistics difference. Here's 135 grain 9 millimeter. This goes between 1,000 and 1,100 feet per second. Here's 135 grain 40 Smith & Wesson. Through chrono that I've done myself, average of around 1,400 feet per second.
So to sit there and say, well, I've got a 9 millimeter plus P round that'll match your 40. Well, I've got a 40 plus P that'll outmatch your 9, and then you got the 357 SIG guy saying, well, hold my beer, right? So when you look at so that's one thing I want to talk about. So grain per grain, I'm looking at some stats on some ammo on 40, because the big thing that people say is, oh, it's underpowered compared to this round or that round. Well, 9's underpowered compared to this round or that round. So grain per grain, I'm looking at 115 grain Corbon Glazer, right? 1,400 feet per second, 500 foot-pounds of energy. It's performing at about 25% more powerful and faster shooting, faster feet per second than a comparable 115 grain, full metal jacket. I would imagine a hollow point, depending on how you load it, could perform similarly or probably going to perform less. So why wouldn't you just want to go with the 40 anyway and have more lethality, more takedown power? Now, there's a lot of arguments for it, and that was something I wanted to get into. But does anybody want to comment on the power and the velocity of the 40? Do you guys think is it underpowered compared to, would you just rather stick with 9, or what do you guys think? Would you rather upgrade to 40 to have a more potent round? Because that's the one thing that people just seem to be forgetting, is you're looking at about a quarter more power, per shot. Why wouldn't you want that,
Well, the thing is, people want the rounds over the amount of rounds over the power. Okay,
so that's an argument. But with the G22, you do have 15, right? Okay, but have you ever heard of a +2 extension? Or +3,
Well, yeah,
yes, but it's the butt that always sticks out. That's what's hard to conceal. So if you start making it longer, it's we're talking about concealed carry here. Is the majority of why people think 9 is king over 40 is because of the rounds. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
like in shooting limited, I could get maximum 21 rounds in a magazine, in 141 millimeter mag. You do that with 9, you're getting 24, 25.
Yeah, for competition, it could make a difference, but for your standard carry, people got this idea of more rounds count. If you look at the standard defensive shooting, you're looking at less than 6 rounds fired.
Mm-hmm.
people go it when you're looking at 40 compared to 9mm, you're looking at a difference of 1 to 2 rounds per magazine.
Yeah, you take a G22 versus a G23, 15 rounds versus what, 17 or 18 rounds in the G17.
Yeah, I'm talking 9mm to.
Yeah, G17 9mm, G17 versus a 40 G22. So, and again, I do feel like the now we start to get into the power versus capacity versus shot placement versus ammo count debate, which is a valid reason why a lot of people won't go 40, because they think, well, in the same form factor, I can have 3 more rounds. Those 3 rounds might be a lifesaver. Of course, they never mention carrying a second mag, but that is an argument that I hear a lot in terms of arguing against 40 is the limited capacity. So
that's kind of a personal decision. I don't think either argument is wrong.
No,
you've got somebody who maybe wants a bigger, heavier bullet coming out of that barrel, and you got somebody else who wants more capacity, and they're both looking at it from it's like the difference between somebody who open carries or conceal carries. They'll argue, who's right, but they're both right. So 40 is an option, and there's a lot of people that believe in it, and there's nothing wrong with 40. There really isn't. I think it really a lot more has to do with your state laws, or maybe how exactly you conceal carry, if you conceal carry, and maybe more with your marksmanship and what kind of load that you're carrying in the firearm. People are always saying that 9mm now has the technology where it's fast enough, and the bullet availability there is such that it'll do a lot more damage than it did back in the past. So using old information, it's not an accurate comparison. A lot of people look at the FBI shootout, right? And they base their decision off that. And there's nothing wrong with that, dude. Do you. But 40, I don't know, 40 kind of falls between the cracks. I mean, it's better than 357 SIG.
Just was a heavier bullet.
Wise.
Now, again, we've done talks on 357 SIG. Plus, the other thing you got to take into consideration is, okay, so we're bragging about 40s, 25% power increase over 9mm, 115 grain versus 115 grain on up, right? So a cord 25% more power, but then you reduce that barrel size on that 40, and then it's going to be less effective. I wonder if 9 is more effective out of a 3.5-inch barrel versus 40 out of a 3.5-inch barrel. Then what's going to perform better? Because I'm talking full size, full frame, 4 to 5-inch barrels that are going to generate that kind of power. So again, it really you start to go around and around in circles about it. So again, that capacity is one possibility, right? But I do have to agree with Squibload. I mean, so practice more, become a more effective shooter, become a more efficient shooter, right? And there's several elements here that are arguments against 40 that I've heard over the last 7 or 8 years. I've always been fascinated by, because one of the first guns I bought was a 40, and one of the reasons why I bought it was because, and again, it's only one metric of measurement, but the FBI ballistics gelatin tests that I saw on spear gold dots in 40 were just wicked. I'm thinking, my God, that is going to drop anybody, right? So that's why I bought a 40 and started putting the spear gold dots in it, or my core bonds that I had in it that are used in the thumbnail for today's video. I thought, man, that's going to do the job. But then I get into the gun community and start watching podcasts, and there's videos on, 40 Smith & Wesson is a dead caliber, or nobody 40 versus 9. Why would anybody? 40 sucks. I mean, since I've been 40 Smith & Wesson sucks, there's probably 100 YouTube videos on it. And I didn't understand what it was about it that people didn't like. Okay. Now, the other argument that people get into, and this is part number 2, how many times have you heard this before? 40's too snappy for me. It's too snappy for me. Okay, well, maybe you should do something, increase your hand strength or grip the gun a little bit more. I guess my answer to that question is good. It should be snappier because it's about 25% more powerful. It should definitely have a little more recoil. And on the other end, it depends on what you're shooting it through. Are you shooting it through a compact single stack, or are you shooting it through a full-size frame? What kind of a recoil system does the gun use that you're shooting it through? Because I've tested a lot of 40s on this channel, and they're fairly smooth guns. I've never had any that I thought were uncomfortably uncontrollable, right? So what can you tell us about that powerball ammo, Rich? Because you're a big proponent of that stuff.
Yeah, this round here, it's like shooting a 9mm. The recoil is very similar to 9mm. It doesn't have the heavy recoil like people expect out of a 40. In fact, I found with a lot of the 40 rounds, the lighter you go with the bullet weight in a full load, because I know Foos will say that he uses competition load, so he's loading his loads a little bit lighter. So with that 180, he's not getting the full, like what you would get from a self-defense load. This is a self-defense load, and I find this to be just to have about the same recoil as what a self-defense 9mm round does.
So what bullet and what speed is that?
It's Corbon Powerball. It's the one I was just showing.
It's an unusual round. It literally has like a little ball on the end of it, right?
Yeah. It's this round right here. It's 135.
So it's a hollow point with a polymer ball on the end of it.
Yeah, it's got a polymer ball, and it's mimics a round ball when you're so that it
loading.
chambers. Yeah, and it's advertised at 1,325. I have croned it out of my HK USP at around 1,400 on average.
Because my projectiles, I send 180 grain, about 990.
Right.
I have gotten over in competition chronoed over 1,000 feet per second. This past year, for Chris from the 470 or 740, I've hit 885 power factor multiple times in chrono.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what your power factor was on those.
Yeah, they're hot. Like they're not like people are like, oh, it's 40, it's competition. No, I mean, sometimes if you're skating real close, but I know what I like. I know what feels good in my hand, and I run hot ammo. People are always amazed by how hot the ammo.
A lot of guys when they're loading for competition will actually load light.
Mm-hmm. Mine actually, as I said, it's hotter than some of the 10 mils out there.
And again, like I said, the actual feel of the gun when you're shooting it, it really does depend on the gun that you're shooting it through. I mean, like, because one of my first 40s was a Stoeger Cougar, which was the Turkish-made version of the Beretta Cougar made by Stoeger. They bought the Beretta either design or tooling and moved it to Turkey so they could make the Cougar cheaper, which was the old Beretta Cougar pistol. And that thing had the rotating barrel. It had a heavy, recoil spring in it. It was very smooth to shoot. It might have been slightly snappier, but it was an all-metal gun. So it really depends on what you're shooting it through. So, Chris, I want to kind of just kind of pick your brain for a minute. What's your take on shooting 40 Smith & Wesson? Do you think it's an unpleasant experience? Is it snappy to the point that you don't want to shoot it, or is that just kind of a complaint that people use because it's so much more than what they're used to in a 9? What do you think?
Well, I got a different take on it. So, I've been reloading 10mm for years.
Okay.
So I was able to get my hands on a Glock 22 from a friend of mine here, who's a police officer. So I got one of his retired Glocks, and I got it really cheap.
Sure.
What I like about it is you can, if you're already reloading 10mm, you're using the same dies, you're using the same projectiles, a lot of the same powders. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's a fun gun to have. I don't think it's snappy at all, but I'm used to shooting 10. But it was a nice extra gun to have and something to take to the range and enjoy and have fun with. And then I've already got everything I need to reload it. So
except the primers are small pistol primers, right? Whereas your 10mm uses large or not?
They're both small.
They are. Okay, I kept thinking 10mm requires a large pistol primer. I don't know why, but maybe it's a 38. Okay.
I think you can get them in both.
Okay.
There's one company that if you want a 40 or 10 mil with a large pistol primer, they do make it. It's not many people buy that.
Okay. Real quick, just shout out to Hootie who's watching out there. Hootie Who, welcome. Good to see you, man. I know you stop by once in a while. It's good to see you watching the chats. And somebody had mentioned, TPC Cook said, make sure you check out Hootie Who's comparison videos comparing 49mm and plate and clay block tests. And as a fairly new gun owner, when I first started getting into all this, over 10 years ago, I was watching a lot of gelatin performance videos and, like accuracy videos and stuff to try to figure out what caliber I wanted to go with once I got past my first handgun, which was, like I said, the G20 10mm. And again, that 40 just kind of sold me because it wasn't much more than 9mm. It looked like it had really good performance. I didn't have to step up to 357, SIG or 44 mag or 357 Magnum to get what I felt was a very good, just home defense firearm. So a lot of people might not ever even get 40 pushed their way when they go to buy a firearm because the 9 is just so prevalent. So the other thing too I want to argue is when we had a lot of the ammo scarcity going on and stuff, I still remember 40 being one of the last calibers to go out. I was able to buy a couple boxes of it. I keep a couple different boxes of different calibers around in case I get guns in those caliber to test out. So 40 was one of the last ones to actually sell out. Then after that, I think 44 mag went, and then the shelves were bare. So like, it just seems like a lot of guys have 40, but just don't maybe stock up on the ammo as much as they normally would, because it was everywhere where you couldn't get a box of 9 if your life depended on it. Or if you could find 9, it was going for $49 a box. So I think it's also smart as a gun owner to have a couple different calibers of handguns, just in case maybe you don't have as much ammunition as you want with one particular caliber. You can have another one. Think of it as your backup caliber or your second caliber that you go to that might have a bit more. And yeah, Chris, 10 millimeter was another one of those rounds. I could get 10 millimeter almost all day. 10 and 40 were on the shelves for months after 9 millimeter sold out. I even thought about buying a 10 millimeter handgun again, just because I could get ammo for it, just to have something to practice with, you know?
Yeah,
so
then all the 10 millimeter has pretty much just disappeared from around this area.
Yeah,
where
I'm starting to see the
40s all
Blazer.
over the shelves.
Yeah, the 40's back now too. So again, snappy depends on the shooter, depends on your training, depends on your technique, depends on the gun that you're using. You know, if you got a gun with a high bore axis, it's going to feel snappier than, you know, than something with a lower bore axis or something in 9 millimeter. Okay, now the other argument that somebody might have to not go into 40 Smith & Wesson is cost. They might say, well, it's so much more expensive to shoot 40 than 9. So I did some comparisons here, and when you buy a case of 1,000 rounds, new manufacturer, because you can argue remanufactured ammo all day. If you go new manufacturer, 1,000 rounds, the price difference between 9 and 40, and I went over to AmmoSeek, it's between 5 cents and 8 cents a round for practice to get ball ammo in 9 versus 40. So you pay about 5 to 8 cents more. Now it's more dramatic on a 50 round box. We're looking at about a $4 price difference, you know, between 9 and 40. And if you can't afford that $4 difference, it's like, okay, I get it. There are some people that just don't have the money to go buy the extra ammo and stuff, but it's only $4, you know, and you're getting a round that's got like an extra 65 or 70 grains of lead in it versus 115 grains. So it's not like you're paying that much more. Plus, in my opinion, it's significantly lower, not necessarily than 10 millimeter, but then significantly lower than 45 by almost $10 a box, or 44 mag or 357 Magnum or 357 SIG.
I think
so.
I think the cost comes down to how much people shoot. Like that $4 a box is fine, but if you shoot, so that's 50 rounds a box, or 50 rounds a box. So let's say you take and you shoot, you know, 2,000 rounds. Well, that's what, 40 boxes. All suddenly,
well, and like I said, at that point, you really need to consider buying in bulk. Just put the money back for a couple months and go buy the case of 1,000. That's what I did, you know, in 2016 after Trump got elected, because the prices on ammo just plummeted. So I'm like, hey, I can get, you know, this and this and this for $200 a case. But if you can get a low case price and save that 5 to 6 cents per round versus 9, then get 1,000 rounds at a time, right? Instead of paying $4 more per box, which is what I was gonna show you. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, the cost is one of those things where that really does come down to the person, you know, what they have to say about it. They may not be able to afford that extra price, but when you're buying it box for box, yeah, you do pay more. But here's the other thing though too, if you look at defensive ammo like your Spear Gold Dots or also your Hornady Critical Defense, typically Hornady Critical Defense, whether you go 380, 9, or 40, and you guys can maybe help me out with the 10 millimeter part, it's $25 to $30 a box. So you don't spend that much more when you're getting actual self-defense grade ammunition, okay? Now, for the reloaders out there, what is the difference in cost to load 9 versus 40 per round? Can you guys give me any kind of an estimate?
The cost of your lead.
How much more? Okay.
It's the cost of your lead. So whenever I reloaded 9, I used 4.2 grains of powder. Now I'm using 5 grains of powder. So that is negligible. I mean, you're still a cent per
1 cent per round. 50 cents more per box. That's going to cost you to do 40 versus 9. All right,
it's negligible. So it's the cost of lead, because a lot of us shoot polymer coated stuff. It's lead price. But if you go out and you start buying your stuff in bulk, I just went through a bulk buy where a bunch of us got together and we ordered almost 500,000 rounds, projectiles. I got 10,000 projectiles at a little over 8 cents a projectile. So for me, it's, if I would have went out and bought from that same company without a bulk buy and all that stuff, it cost me an extra 2 cents a round. to buy the lead for 40 than if it would have been for 9. So 2 cents around, $2 100.
Same primers as 9mm, right? So you don't have to worry about buying a different primer. Okay. Dyes, that's negligible. $40 for a set of dyes, $50, depending on what you get. So that's not a big deal. Okay. Chris, what about your experiences? Do you reload 40 or 9 at all? You said you do 10mm.
I reload a lot of 9mm.
Okay.
I have to. I mean, especially during competition season, you're running through so much of it. So like I use 4.8 grains of CFE pistol. But if I'm reloading, say 10mm, which I use long shot powder, I'll be running 8.2 grains is what I run on my 10mm rounds. So almost double the powder. But still, and then the projectiles are a little more, I
mean, powder, pistol powder, even today's world, you're $40 1,000 for a pound, and a pound at, is like what, 1,500 at 5 grains, 1,500 rounds at 5 grains. So still, I mean, even if you double it, you're still talking pennies.
Yeah. It's not much.
Yeah. So, I mean, really what you're looking at is that 5 cents more per round to reload it, 9 versus 40, versus the 5 cents more per round that I'm talking about buying commercially manufactured 9 versus 40. So it's about the same, but you're still saving money on the end when you reload, especially when you reload your own brass and stuff too. So that's an option. Lots of comments here I want to get to real quick on the YouTube side. So what's going on? E-Rock says we should have a coffee discussion, types of brewing methods, grinders, bean selections, etc. We can do that. I do have a B channel called Coffee, Computers, and More. And I'd love to have a live chat over there. I've only done one so far, which was a couple of years ago. So we might have to get a little crew together that wants to discuss coffee. So that's an option. I probably won't do it on this particular channel because I try to keep all my coffee talk and stuff over on my B channel. But E-Rock, good suggestion. There's a good comment out here. So Scott79 said, for about a year before my local went out of business, they were blowing out 40 cal 50 round boxes for $20. Didn't matter if it was ball or hollow point. I've got about 2,000 rounds of each. Online, you can get boxes. Now, again, depending on shipping and how this works for you, you can get boxes of Blazer and new manufacturer brass for $18.29 a box for 180 grain 40 Smith & Wesson versus $14.29 for the cheapest new manufacturer brass 9mm that I can find on ammoseek.com, which is for 115 grain 9. So you're going to spend about $4 more per box if you're not reloading, if you're not buying in bulk. And a lot of people that might just turn them off to 40 altogether. It's like, well, I'm only getting 50 rounds versus 50 rounds. I'm not gaining anything. I'm paying $4 more. They don't quite understand, what you're actually getting in terms of defensive capability. YNH said, I saw 1,000 rounds of 10mm for $600 online the other day. Yeah, my local Shields had 10mm Blazer. It was either aluminum or brass case. I can't remember, but it was, I think, like $24.99 a box. And at that point, when I saw it, it was like the same price as what they were asking for a box of 9. It was like $24 a box before they finally dropped off the price. So yeah, 10mm, again, it's another reason to consider. Now, Dwayne K's got a good comment out there. He says, with my 40, I can shoot 9mm and 357 SIG in it with conversion barrels. So that's something to consider too. So you use the same magazines, if I'm not mistaken. No, 40 and 9 don't use the same mag, do they?
Yes,
guys.
yeah,
they do. Okay, because I think I've seen. Okay, maybe I've seen them stamp both 40 and 9mm. I think my Shadow 2 says that, but yeah.
Yeah, the major issue with 40 and 9, a lot of times where your ejector is, you really don't want to have a 9 put up to a 40 because that ejector, I always get those confused whenever I say Sam, gets really close to your primer. So if you eject a live round, so if you have a 9, you go to a 40, that ejector gets really close to your primer. You can set it off. I've seen one person in a OG Glock, second gen Glock. He converted it to a 40, and he had out of battery detonation because he opened it up on a live round and blew 2 fingers off. But then again, if you go the other way around, like the ejector is made for 40. If you put a 9 in it, a lot of times what kicks the round out is the presentation of another round, because that ejector is off the round.
Okay. Which could cause some weird wear in your gun and some malfunction issues. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Because I have that conversion barrel. I think it's from Wolf, that the 40 to 9mm conversion barrel for my Glock 22. And then back to what Foose was saying too. If you ever look at the your ejector on your 40 cal ejector's is a lot more straight, where your 9mm is kind of kicking in on that 45-degree angle too.
Yeah. So you got to be careful. So if you're doing that, if you do any kind of caliber conversion, now you can easily go from 40 to 357 SIG with no issues, right? Isn't that the big thing with just a barrel swap and that's it?
Because
that's one good thing about getting something in 40 is you can just get the barrel and you're done. So
357 SIG is a neck down 40.
What about recoil springs? Should you look at swapping those out too if you're going to be running a caliber conversion in the gun? Does it matter? Do you think you use the same recoil spring in a?
I've never had issues with that. And like Dwayne, he brings up a good point over in the side chat. He said he has extra ejectors. It's just like you can always put a 9mm follower in your Glock mags too, and your 40 cal mags.
And get an extra round.
Yeah. So, if you're going to go to the range that day and say, well, I'm going to put the conversion over and go to 9, it's, within a few minutes, you can have your ejector swapped and, throw a follower in your mag. So,
yeah. Let's see. Bot75 says, I've been thinking about getting a 10mm, so of course kind of got me interested in getting a cheap 40. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit too. Like, so what's actually out there? What kind of prices are we looking at? Yeah.
And in a 10mm, if you really want, I would not do this for a lot of rounds, but put a 40 straight into the 10 mil, and it will go. Your straight wall case, your extractor will hold it, and over thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds, it will cause more wear. But box or two, shove a 40 down your 10 mil, it'll shoot fine.
Yeah.
I think Hootie Who's done quite a few videos over on his channel.
Oh yeah, man, he's
10 mil.
Yeah, you go check his channel if you're curious about some kind of a caliber. There's a chance he's done a video on it or a comparison video or shot something with it. So yeah, he does a lot of the clay shooting and the water jug shooting, but then also just straight up, caliber comparisons, putting one in the other. So yeah, do check out his channel too. I've been a sub of his for a long time. So and again, like what these guys are saying, you can also cut back on the grain weight of your ammo if you're so concerned about the snappiness of the gun. So you get the 40 and you don't like it. Now, do understand if you get yourself a more compact pistol in 40, there's a good chance you're going to experience more bucking, more snappiness, more recoil, just because there's less of everything to mitigate that, right? And you might also be losing some effectiveness, because one thing I always said I'd love to see would be a single stack 10mm compact Glock, but it's like, okay, but are you gaining anything power-wise once it leaves the barrel? Wouldn't it be more effective to maybe have a 40 or have a 357 SIG instead of the 10mm, because you're not gaining anything in the end? You've got a bigger bulk of your gun with less round count, but it's a 10mm. But are you gaining anything? That's the big question you got to ask. So, and again, I love 10mm. Like I said, it was the first handgun I ever bought was a G20. But yeah, oh man, Y&H. I picked up an old Gen 2 G20 at a show a while back. I haven't shot it yet, but it's in great conditions for its age. So Y&H, why don't you contact me, because I might want to take that off your hands if you're not interested, because that was the first handgun I ever had was a Gen 2 G20. And Foose knows I foosed myself because we were at Cabela's and they had a G2 Gen 20. This has nothing to do with 40, but they had a G2 Gen 20 for $400 and I didn't buy it. And I am kicking myself to this day for not getting it, because it could have taken me back to my old days when I first turned 21 and bought my first handgun. So yeah. All right. So we talked about decreased capacity. So AWAG, we're just giving nothing but showers of love for the 40 Smith & Wesson. AWAG, what is it that you don't like about the 40? What is the reason why you will never buy a 40 cal handgun?
Because number one, I don't feel like buying another gun that I'm probably
never. That's not an argument. But what is it about the caliber that you don't like? Because nobody says I'll never buy another gun. Nobody ever says that. But go on. If you have the money, why would you not buy a 40?
Okay, so if I had the money to buy a 40, I would spend it on a Glock 20 in 10mm. So more power. I'm a recoil junkie. And And the whole issue with people saying, "Oh, I can get my 40 that pushes into 10 millimeter territory." Cool. I'll reload 10 millimeter. That'll like break wrists.
Now we just go up and up and up. The pissing contest continues. It's like, well, I'll get 44. Well, then I'll go get a Desert Eagle 44 mag and smoke all you guys, you know, or a 357 mag, right?
So I mean, right now I have 357 SIG. It essentially is a 40 case, neck down to 9 millimeter. I'm a velocity and a recoil junkie. The faster that bullet's moving, the happier I am. I'm already making. Oh, geez, I got to check my notes. But roughly last time I chronoed it, it was 124 grain projectiles moving at 18 or 1900 feet per second.
Oh.
Yeah, they're kind of hauling ass.
You be safe there, little young man. We don't want you injuring yourself, fine. Like pushing past the Sammy spec rating on that barrel. You know?
Oh, I'm well past Sammy spec.
So I just want to say that anything you hear us talking about on this show, you do this at your own liability. That we're not proponents or supporters of the actions taken on this panel today. So yeah. All right.
I'm using a 6-hour P226. That's 357 SIG. It throws a massive fireball out the front. It's an absolute laser beam, and I love it. 40. Yo.
Weren't you the guy that was, on somebody's chat talking about using like 50 BMG powder and like a Mosin or something to throw fireballs?
That's me.
Yeah, so you know what? Don't listen to AWAG when it comes
don't.
AWAG he's in the running for the Darwin Awards this year. So
do not take any of my advice to heart. Yeah, these are merely suggestions.
Just enjoy it for the amusement. Don't actually participate. So
I am taking the risk, so you don't have to.
To quote obnoxious one, the views and opinions of AWAG 1000 or the views and opinions of AWAG 1000 did not reflect the views and opinions of anybody else on the panel.
Of Travis P11 LLC. That's right. All users are enjoying their firearms at their own risk and their own liability. So, man.
So another thing that puts me on the crazy train is with my 300 Winchester Magnum, I am moving a 220 grain projectile at 3,085 feet per second. Yeah.
Holy shit.
You're standing behind the gun with the string on the trigger, pulling back like 20 yards away, right?
No.
Do you not value your life, AWAG? Do you not want to?
Okay, if we don't hear from AWAG, we
know.
No.
Okay. So the military specifications for the 248 mod 1, mod 2, I don't know what it is. It's a 220 grain Sierra Match King, and they're moving those at 3,100 feet per second. So that's a military load for the 300 Winchester Magnum.
Okay.
They're moving. So like I'm kind of in that ballpark, but at the same time, I sort of know what I'm doing. Don't take any advice that I am giving.
No. So the last thing I want to point out to you is if you go, and again, guys, we have to cut the episode short today. I apologize. I've got some stuff going on today at noon that I have to tend to, but firearm selection. Okay, if you go out over on Gunbroker, you're able to find 40 Smith Wesson trade-ins. At one point, they were bottoming out around $279 to $299 before shipping and before tax for M&P 40 trade-ins. I was seeing, we've talked about this years ago. Things have gone up a little bit, but if you wanted a new 40, there's a vast selection of firearms you can go with. One of the cheapest ones is the SD40 VE that's out there. It's one of the least expensive ones by Smith & Wesson. A Glock is going to run you probably $550 to $600 depending on what model you go with and what kind of slide you want with it. You could really, and even at one point, Taurus made a PC-111 G2 in 40 also. So, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get into 40 if you're interested in the caliber. I would recommend a full-size frame, keep it as a range gun. You can carry it, you can carry anything if you do it the right way. But, consider the full-size frame just for the reduction in recoil and the increased performance you're going to get right out of the barrel. I'm looking over at sportsmansoutdoorsuperstore.com right now, and they've got fair condition G22 Gen 4s with night sights for $439. And granted, you're going to pay, a transfer fee. You're going to pay for shipping and tax, but it's still going to be way below the $600 asking price on a new Gen 5. They've got really nice ones in good condition for $449. They've got very good condition for $489. If you just want to go that route, they've also got, if you're interested, they got G21 Gen 4s in 45 ACP for $469. So these LEO trade-in guns, and I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to LEO trade-ins, it's a crapshoot, and I don't know if you're not happy with it when you get it. I don't know if you can ship it back to the vendor. A lot of times those are all sales final. So I would almost push for you to get a new handgun in 40 because you're going to get the full warranty with it. You're going to have the product support. But if you buy one of these LEO trade-ins, or maybe if you can find one like Chris, you knew the gun, you knew the owner, you knew it was cared for. And I'll read reviews on these LEO trade-ins, and people either get a great one or they get something that's just been run over by a floor jack that's got a scraped off grip and it's all worn and the grooves are worn down in the barrel, and they end up spending more on it to rejuvenate it than a new one would cost.
Right.
So, what would you say for somebody looking for a used 40? Because you bought one. So what would you say?
I think I paid $300 for that gun. I mean, even if it would have been in rough shape, it was worth, $300.
Yeah. What's a replacement recoil spring unit on a G22? $20, maybe, for an actual factory recoil spring replacement unit. You can get nice aftermarket units if you want to. A barrel, what's the replacement barrel for a G22? 50, 75, 100? Do you guys, an actual factory barrel is probably 150, maybe, or not? Do you know?
No clue.
I don't know on a barrel.
But and there's a million companies that make barrels out there too that you can go with, the Wolf barrels or whatever. You can get good replacements, or maybe go ahead and just get a used one, get a replacement barrel that's threaded. So then you're ready for a suppressor if you ever want to add one. It's right. So that's an option too. So you can get into one of these for not a lot of money. They were such a better deal before the pandemic, because I remember drilling over the SIG P228s and 226s that AIM Surplus used to have, Sportsman's Outdoor Superstore. They had a lot of options in 40 and 357 SIG for not a lot of money. Now those days are gone, but I'm still seeing trade-in 40s showing up. These guns are looking basically brand new at my local Shields for, $400, $425 for, a Gen 4 G22. So don't be afraid to buy one, because you can get the replacement parts if you need them. There's always parts out there for, especially if you buy into, say, an M&P or a Glock, right? Or even like that Smith Wesson that Gary bought. There's a lot of support out there. Gary, how is that Smith Wesson, that 4006 model that you have? Is that a pretty smooth shooter? Have you had a chance to fire it at all or not?
Oh yeah, I like shooting it. Like I say, the weight of it pretty much negates whatever recoil there is. It's really easy with the weight. It doesn't have any muzzle rise to speak of, so you can keep down on the target with it. Mm-hmm. And it's a good shooter. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of us, all four of us, and a lot of other people picked one of those up when they all went on sale. I remember seeing him at Copper Customs, Mac Military Arms channel. But who'd you get yours through? Did you go through Classic Firearms or J&G Sales or Gunbroker?
Gunbroker, yeah, because a bunch of them just showed up on the market. They were LA Police Department trade-ins, if I'm not mistaken. And they
California
had
Highway Patrol.
CHP. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. LA Police Department.
Yeah,
sorry.
And Gary,
California Highway Patrol,
and Travis Bolt. I hate you guys sometimes when it comes to those guns.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is when the CHP got rid of those, they could not be sold in the state of California, so only people outside of California could get them.
They're neat looking guns with the rail on them and all steel, stainless steel. They're beautiful guns. So, and they were what, 500, 469, something like that when they.
I paid in the 400s for mine. They're more than that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now they're probably, I'm gonna guess 600, 700 if somebody wants one, just because they're gone now.
If you can find one. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
You brought up AIM when you brought up AIM Surplus. I think just a week or two ago, they had got a ton of trade-ins. They got a big bulk of them back in again.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see. So all those trade-ins got bought up by people, and the pandemic was going on. People were just buying anything and everything they could get their hands on. I love going to AIM Surplus, especially if you go look at their LEO trade-ins. I think they have an LEO trade-in category you can actually click on, and you can see exactly what they have in stock. And they just make sure you check the condition on it. And I don't hear a lot of people complain about them. And they post the reviews, good and bad, for the guns. So if somebody bought one and it was a piece of crap, they're going to say, hey, I bought 2 or 3 and they were all beat to heck. Because sometimes they say, oh, very good condition or NRA certified good. It's like, well, yeah, maybe,
And that's probably just the bulk of them. They open up a box, go, oh, yeah, all these.
Do a random sample of 5, yeah. And
I did a tour of theirs. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead, man. Yeah.
Oh, I did a tour of theirs. They're about 3 hours from my house, and man, they were really cool. They let us come in there and film and everything in there. That's a neat shop. I really like AIM.
Yeah. They've, I mean, they had some wonderful deals before all this was going on, and I wish I would have had the money at the time to buy some more of their guns. And especially, I remember, I think it might have been AIM. They were selling the Redline 6-hour factory refurbished. Was it AIM? No, it was CDNN. They were selling the Smith 6-hour Redline trade-in refurbished handguns for like $429, $450 for P228s and 226s. It was amazing. So. All right, a couple comments out there. Dwayne K says, I wanted one of the CHP police trade-ins, but I missed out on Copper Customs. Yeah, they were like 500, I think, or 469. A few people are saying they're going to wait for maybe a Gen 2 or a revised 10mm Smith & Wesson M&Ps to come out, just so they can get some of the kinks worked out in it. Dwayne K says, the Taurus 740 Slim is a good budget gun. I sold mine to my brother, and he loves it and carries it all the time. Let's see here. SS Pond's out there. He says, good morning, Travis P11. Good morning, Stan. Good to see you, buddy. So, yeah, and a few people said, if you don't mind the Politics, the Springfield XDM Elite Compact 10mm is a wonderful handgun. If you don't mind buying a Springfield, and you can always pick one up used if you look around. If you don't want to buy a new one to support them. Yeah, so again, lots of good comments. But, all right, I hate to do it to you guys, but we're going to have to go ahead and wrap it up today because I've got a lot of stuff going on. But it's been a good discussion. I said, like, just kind of a deep dive into 40 Smith & Wesson, our experiences with it. The poll said, I believe, 59 to 41% yes versus no for owners of 40 Smith & Wesson. A lot of us have it. Sometimes it's kind of fun just to poke fun at the caliber and just kind of hassle it a little bit because, oh, there's something better that's out there. But do consider it. I think it's kind of a fun discussion to have. It's something to think about getting into. If you don't have one, get one. If anything, it's always nice to have a separate caliber from your primary caliber, just in case the primary caliber should ever sell out. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So Foos, we're going to start with you. Any final words of wisdom? Anything you want to say to those 40 owners out there, or promote your channel, plug your channel? What do you want to say?
That is the very first time I've ever heard wisdom and Foos in the same sentence.
Oh man, I look up to you. You're a mentor to me, man. I'm sorry for never pointing it. You're like you're the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the gun world to me, man. Yeah.
I mean, if you reload 40, you could get, let's say you like 10mm and you have a 40, you could reload 40 that gets better performance than a factory 10mm because factory ammo is always neutered.
Okay. Something to consider, but there's nothing wrong with having a 10mm. So 10mm.
No, absolutely not.
Maybe 10mm will be next week's discussion. So yeah, there we go. All right, man. Well, it's good to have you here. Appreciate having you on the show every week, and have yourself a good weekend. And guys, make sure you check out Foos's channel, and he's in a lot of the podcasts too, so you see him hanging out here and there. Cool, man. All right, Gizzard Gary, any final words of wisdom? Tell us about your shows. What do you got coming up? What's going down?
Well, we just had Foul Territory last night. That's every Friday at 9 p.m. And then Sunday morning, we get up and do the early bird chat. That's 4 hours starting at 9 a.m. Central. So I'd love to have anybody that wants to get up on a Sunday and just jabber. Jump on over. We'd love to have you.
Why don't you carry on the discussion of 40 Smith & Wesson, because it's it's kind of a fun one to talk about. So there's a lot of information.
Might just do that. We got plenty of time to talk about it, but I didn't.
You got a whole other audience that I never get to meet unless I'm on your show. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I mean, I knew you were going to do that this week, so I said let's not get too deep into that topic because I know Travis is going to cover it. So.
Well, if we had more time, I would have got more into the history of it because it's kind of fascinating about the development of it and kind of the evolution of it and Glock beating Smith & Wesson to the punch, but. Anyway, it's just fun to talk about. It's like, because I wanted to have something that would kind of get people's attention. I had kind of a triggering thumbnail that I used for today's episode to draw people in. It took a lot of time and creativity to take that thumbnail. I want people to know I put a lot into that one because I'm known for my high production value. Squib and I, high production value. That's our nickname. So anyway, yeah. So check out Gizzard Gary's shows. Get over there, like and subscribe. All right, and Squibload, what do you got to say, man? Anything you want to say before we go?
No, it's time for breakfast, man. Let's go.
I'm ready for my second breakfast. So I never did ask you, Squib. Did you say yes or no? Do you have anything in 40 or not?
No comment.
Ah, there you go. He's that 1%er, the 59-40 that say no, the 1%er. So there you go. A lot of us have it. A lot of us won't admit it. It's okay. It's okay, Squib. We've all made mistakes in our past that we don't acknowledge today. So not a problem. Okay, all right. Calaveras 32 special. Anything you want to say before we go?
It's just, good discussion. That's for interesting listening to you guys. I didn't contribute a whole lot. I was over here uploading some videos to, some different platforms, but that's for, I definitely believe 40 is it's not going to get to the capacity of a 9, but that's for, it is a viable cartridge for those that want it. And I'm going to be doing some hand loading for it here, this afternoon. So, I probably won't post that to YouTube because they don't tend to like that, but probably post it over to my Rumble and see where else I slap it up at. But cool. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. Yeah, about the whole 40 thing, a lot of people they talk smack about it, but nobody wants to be on the receiving end to test its effectiveness. I don't see any product testers out there lining up to say, hey, let's see if it works. There's probably some good body armor tests that are out there on 40 Smith that you can watch and stuff too. But anyway, all right, Rich White, any final words before we go?
Yeah, the Foos's point, I've seen people take a 40 Smith & Wesson 135 grain round, put a little bit more powder, change up the type of powder they're using, they're pushing the 135 grain round out to 1,600 feet per second. So, 40 has a bad reputation, mainly because of the way the FBI loaded it, and that's the way law enforcement carried it for years, and that was the primary way you would see it on the shelf. You load the 40 Smith & Wesson right, and you're looking at around its bonus 357 sig.
Okay.
So
definitely,
a 40 is a trim down 10 mil. So a lot of where your pressure is, and like where the failure point of a round is right around the head, because as long as the barrel is supporting it, the barrel's supporting it. But at the head is where your breech and your barrel separate. So that's where a lot of the pressure is going to go if something blows out. A 40 is a trim down 10 mil. So it's designed to hold pressures of a 10 mil.
Yep.
At that point, at that critical point. Okay. So you could hot rod some stuff.
Oh, yeah, you can have a little fun with it, I think. And again, there's a massive variety in grain weights, just like there is for a lot of calibers, but you can definitely find something or tailor something that's going to work for you, whether it's for competition or range use or self-defense. There's something out there that 40 has to offer, so consider it. Plus, just that, like I said, that overall lower price point of what you can get into. You can get a really good deal on a great handgun. It's just that it's chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. So, Defense Dad says, I still don't see why I would want 40 when I have a 45 ACP double stack Walther personally. Hey, to each his own. Everybody has their own preference in their calibers that they shoot and stuff. And
and
like I said, you could argue effectiveness of the round, you could argue capacity, but still, whatever works is whatever works for you. Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, for all the people out there saying that 9mm is just effective because of the new bullet technologies, the same new bullet technologies can be applied to 40 Smith & Wesson as well, which just keeps.
Like I said, you can make any round support your argument if you want to. There's something out there that's going to do what you need it to. So yeah, again, and I love 45 ACP. There's nothing wrong with that. And some people could say, well, I want a lighter gun or whatever. You could go round and round about this with the calibers, but yeah, if you're comfortable with the round, you're good to go. Like Joseph Carpenter out there says, 40mm to me is just a watered down round. I'll stick with my 10mm. Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
If I have a 40mm handgun, I'd take that over 10mm any day.
Like I said, everybody just kind of has their own opinions about it.
No, 40mm over a 10.
Oh, 40. Oh, 40 millimeter.
40 millimeter.
Yeah, no, 40 millimeter. Yeah, he put
tank gun in the form of a handgun. Yeah, who wouldn't want
that? He said 40 millimeter to me. I'm like, holy crap, bro. You got that mount on the back of a Toyota or what? So anywho. All right, so Chris, thanks for joining us. I appreciate having you here. Hope the chat was everything you thought it would be. Like I said, it's just an hour. We usually go an hour or two, but say whatever you want to say, man. What do you got to say? Go ahead.
I appreciate you having me on. I had a really good time on the panel here. That was fun. Cool. So yeah, anytime you want me back, I'll swing by and
cool.
And as far as my channel's going, I upload a new video every Tuesday and every Thursday. Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 Eastern, I do my live chat, and most Saturday nights I'm on the G23 channel with Foss and Rob over there from New York Outcast. So
okay, awesome, man, awesome. Do appreciate having you here, and you get up early and joining us and stuff, and contributing to the discussion. And sometimes we just, sometimes we'll discuss something that somebody might not have much to say about it, but I just appreciate having you guys here for the support, just giving some insight and sharing your wisdom and stuff like that. So appreciate having you on the chat. So welcome to Caliber Corner. All right. And last but not least, AWAG, have we done anything to convince you that 40 Smith & Wesson is the light is at the end of the tunnel for 40 Smith & Wesson, that it's what you need to look into?
No.
I'd
much rather buy a 5.7.
Oh my God, dude! Don't even. Oh wow, that hurts.
New topic: 5.7 by 28.
We talked 5.7 before. We discussed all these. Oh God, yeah. Go back into the.
Yes, we have.
We've had a 5.7 discussion. We talked about just about every. There's one time we just went through calibers, starting at 22 long rifle all the way up to 44 mag, 357, and I don't think we discussed 50 in anything, but we could always bring it back. And like I said, I love 357 SIG. It's one of my favorite rounds. It was one of the best guns I ever got to test on the channel and range tests and stuff. I did a Glock. I don't remember what the model was, but it was a 357 SIG, and it was fun to shoot. It was great, man. I sucker again. It was laser beam. It was accurate. It was awesome. So, all right. So, guys, make sure you check out AWAG's channel.
As always, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Always. So we got to give a little shout out. Now, they're not a channel sponsor, but they do send us products for review. We've got the rnldisplays.com, part of the New York Outcast empire of fine products. Look at this. Chris is out there. Like, he's got one too. So that's the pistol stand that they sell. That's awesome. We've got the pistol caliber carbine Glock mag compatible stand. Now, this will work with other PCCs that aren't necessarily Glock mag compatible. Like, this will work with the Ruger PCC if it's got the Ruger magwell adapter in it. It also has a wall mount that comes with it with all the hardware and stuff. So, Chris, how has your pistol stand been for you? Has that been a wonderful product or what?
Oh yeah, I like it.
Cool. Yeah, they're nice, man. Again, veteran-owned company, American-made. You come with a variety of wood finishes. This is just, I love this one because it's a great contrast with the black rifle sitting on it. It just like stands out, And this will work with anything that's got a 5.56 magwell. Still waiting for those AK mags to come out there, New York Outcast. We're still waiting on those AK mags, but those might be available at some point in the future. Who knows? But you also get the wall mount kit, so you can actually put a SETB C308 on the top of this. It will surprisingly balance and work. So consider rnldisplays.com. Let's go ahead and put their web address out there. So again, they're not a sponsor of the channel, but they do support us by sending us some products for testing and giveaways and stuff like that. So anyway, that's all I have. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We'll have an episode next week. It may be early. It may be a 7 a.m. episode or sooner, just to let you know. Depends on what time I have to log in to do my curriculum work. But otherwise, that's it, guys. So thanks for watching. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. And, real quick, let's give a shout out to who is watching. Out there on the YouTube side, JH586, New York Outcast, Defense Dad, Dwayne K, Defense Dad, let's see, Ozzy Orsborn, Watt75, Rich White, Guns and Barbecues out there also. Let's see, Mad Sexy's out there, Klooper1's out there also. Big fan of 45 ACP, it looks like. We also had Scott79 watching, Joseph Carpenter, DM Foss is out there too, YNH. Aragun 1776 is watching today. YNH, I'm telling you, man, contact me about that second gen Glock 20. I'm interested, brother. Gizzard Gary, Squib Lifts. I think that's about it. Gunmetal Guy USA, SS Pawn. EJ Nemo was out there today. Tactical Fud was watching. Great audience. I appreciate the comments and the questions you guys have put out there. Lonnie's out there also. Good to watch. Okay, let's see. Calvary 32 Special. And make sure you guys get over to Tara's channel, TPC Cooks. If you want to learn how to make some really good food, go subscribe to TPC Cooks. Awesome channel to check out. Gizzard Gary, Fluffy 10 millimeter Jeep guy, and E-Rock. We'll discuss coffee. If you want to do a coffee podcast, E-Rock, go ahead and email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com, and we can make a coffee chat happen. So we'll get Squib in on this one. We haven't done a coffee discussion yet. Hell, I might even get my mom in on this one. She's a massive coffee fan, even worse than me. So anyway, that's it. You guys have fun, be safe, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Alicia,
Bye-bye.
go get AWAG of 40 Smith & Wesson because he wants one.